here.
Me
I
too.
always just love sharing ideas and sharing all kinds of perspectives with someone else who is also excited about this. So let's go.
Excellent. So I have only one question prepared, and that is in two sentences. What was your idea, and how does it help the world?
Right. So I have lots of ideas, I think, as many people will know who follow me on LinkedIn. But my idea is to turn words into wealth and how to speak for success. Because I believe that when someone has an idea that they want to share, they can not only share that with the world, they can also make money off of that. Right. So a lot of people think that public speaking isn't for them because they're not famous, they don't have a huge following, they don't have a cool story or anything like that. Whilst I believe that anybody has a story to share and anybody could become, in fact, a paid speaker and turn their words into wealth.
Excellent. So if I want to be a known public speaker, how would you recommend that I start?
Okay. So I think you start by what is it the thing that you want to be known for? And it can't be as simple as, oh, a public speaking coach, right? It needs to be a niche part of your industry, preferably something that isn't spoken about a lot. So, for example, I talk about how to become a paid speaker without the need for a PR agency. That's something that doesn't get spoken about, right? A lot of the speaking industry has been gatekeeping that information. So, what we want to do is make that more accessible for people. So that's what I talk about. And that has multiple different facets, but that is the essence from where I start every single talk and every type of speech that I deliver. So when you want to become a speaker, get that essence super clear. What you do after that is find your audience. Who are the people that you want to be speaking to? And also, who has your audience? So is there someone in your network that right now already has your audience? So you can invite them on your podcast, you can join some of their events, anything like that, so that you can start tapping into their audience and work on that partnership. Once you have that, it's time to create your talk. So we need to write a signature talk, the stuff that you're going to be known for. Put your own ideas in there. Don't copy it from anybody else. Put your own ideas in there. Come up with your own methods and frameworks so that people feel like, wow, this person has all the answers. And
Mhm.
from there, it's all about researching the right events, knowing how to sell your talk and yourself when it comes to speaking. And then it's time to get on stage.
Excellent. So you are already teaching people this, and how from some for somebody who hasn't even started yet, who's camera shy and has no ideas what to talk about. How much time do you think, or do you have the experience they need to get to the, I don't know, paid speaking gig?
Yeah, so it really depends on the person, right? If you're someone who really struggles with this and like really struggles with nerves, for example, we might need to do a little bit of extra work right there. But if you're already comfortable speaking to people and you already know what you want to talk about and you know who your audience is, it makes it all a lot easier for us to go, okay, this is what you need to do in order to become a paid speaker. So it really depends on where you are in your journey, in your speaking journey, maybe in your business journey, or just generally in life. But I normally say anywhere from 90 days is where you should expect to see speaking gigs come in if there's no unforeseen challenges. And with that, I mean, if someone really struggles with anxiety, for example, it might be an underlying cause that maybe you should see a psychologist, for example, or a therapist. So I always make it very clear I'm not a therapist, so I can't fix those issues. So make sure that you are ready to go, you know what you want to talk about. And from there, I would say 90 to maybe 100 days, you should be able to get there. But most of my clients get there within 3 months.
Excellent. Excellent. So, do you have a team, or do you work by yourself? How does it work?
I do everything alone as of right now. Yes, I started the business almost 2 years ago, and it actually started as a bit of an accident. So I don't know, many people know this, some people don't know this, but I had a stroke 6 years ago after having had a very successful career in musical theater. So that meant that I lost my career overnight and I started to work in the corporate industry. So I worked in finance, I worked in tech, I worked in media. And what I noticed very quickly was when I was in front of clients or I was doing sales calls, I was often very successful. And my colleagues and my peers were not, and they were missing out on opportunities. And the common denominator there was that my communication was really clear. How I communicated with prospects and clients was through storytelling and as an engaging speaker. So at some point in one of my jobs that I did, I had a colleague ask me, hey, could you teach me how to be a better presenter? And I thought, yeah, cool. So I did that. And then more people started to get wind of that. So people started paying me. And at the time, I charged £10 for an hour of coaching. That number has increased in the meantime. And then in my last job, I quit my job. It felt like it wasn't the right fit for me anymore. And then I was out of a job again. So my husband said, why don't you start your own business? And I said, doing what? I thought he was crazy. And he said, well, you have a very unique skill, right? You have a background in musical theater, in storytelling, and in presenting, and you know how the corporate world works. I think there's a lot there that you can teach people. And I honestly said to him, you're crazy. That's stupid. That sounds like a terrible idea. And if he's listening, I'm so sorry. You were right. And that is now on camera. But so I had nothing to lose, right? So I literally went onto Google and I typed in, how do you start a business? And the rest is history. And I've run my business alone ever since. I don't have any assistants or anything. I worked with an assistant for a short while, but I felt like I could just do it all on my own. So it's just me. I do all the coaching. I write all my own content. I do all the marketing. It's all just one person, but we are slowly growing. We're going into year 3 of the business. I have some very exciting collaborations happening. One of them is actually on the call, I think, here today, Joe Hickey from Shatter Media. We're going to go into a partnership, and there's lots of cool stuff on the horizon that's going to be happening. So yeah, it's slowly growing, but so far, just me.
Excellent. So if you would start again, would you do anything differently, or do you think it was pretty much the best way you could go?
No. I would do it very differently.
Oh, really?
Oh, God, yeah. Well, it was quite painful to start my business. So when I started, so I've never been someone who does a lot of stuff online, right? Yes, I have Facebook and I've got Instagram and I had LinkedIn, but I never used any of them really. So even though I'm a millennial or Gen Z, like I'm on the brink there, I had no idea how this whole internet thing with social media worked. So in the beginning, I really stressed over LinkedIn and how to write the perfect LinkedIn post and how to get clients. I had no idea, right? I didn't have a big brand. I had no real offer. So I was very unsure how to do all of that and how to have a proper marketing strategy in place. So if I would have to start all over again, I would research what marketing is and how that works. I would focus much less on branding and colors and getting all of that right. Like that's all the cool stuff that you feel you want to do, but I don't, that's not important. What's important is building your brand, like your personal brand. So what do people know you for? How do you show up? So I would heavily invest in researching the platform that I am trying to market myself on. I'm focused much less on the cool stuff, like your brand colors and your logo. And I would focus on getting the message out there, simple and easy.
Excellent. I like was talking about how if you don't know how to sell, you're a thief. And I mean it, because the skills that you have and the knowledge that you have, if you're suck at selling, then people don't get it, and you are stealing from them, and of course from yourself too, because you don't get paid for what you know and what you can help them with.
Absolutely, I agree.
What was the best advice that you get?
The best advice I get? I get a lot of advice, some of it unasked for. I think the best advice I got was to stay true to me. And I think in the beginning, I tried to be like the big creators out there, and I tried to sound like them, act like them, create even my images like them, because I felt like, okay, they've been successful, so maybe I should do that too. And it was the moment when I realized, okay, there's only one me, and that is my superpower, that I started to see real growth. So I remember I've worked with some coaches along the over the years, and one of them said, you should really, this is a true story, you should really get blue in your colors, because blue is good for corporates and people will see you as more of an authority. And I thought, that's terrible advice, because I don't have an affinity with blue, she says, wearing a blue blouse. But I was like, I don't want my brand to be the color blue. So I thought, what is the least corporate color I can think of? So I went with pink. And from there, I don't like the color pink, even though I have pink right behind me. So it's not necessarily my favorite color or anything like that, but I felt it was feminine, it was powerful, it was in your face, and it was memorable. So I made my brand very pink, and everything you see on my website, on my LinkedIn, on my images, it's all pink. Okay. And people love it. Yeah. I've worked with the biggest brands in the world. And they don't care that my brand is pink. Okay. So they like that I show up as myself, as me, in the way that I speak, right? They don't care that I sometimes use swear words. They don't care that it's all quite flamboyant and out of the box. They love it. So I think the best advice I ever got was, stop listening to everyone else and stop trying to be like everyone else. Start sharing your perspectives, your ideas, and just your true self. And from there, it became a lot easier.
So I have to admit that I don't remember you in pink, but I remember yellow shirts and shoes. That stays in my mind. So
that is a picture that a lot of people, I think, have in their minds. It's because the post went viral, I think. So it was my first day speaking at a Fortune 500 company that had been on my list for a very long time. The client was Amazon, and it was one of my dreams to speak at Amazon headquarters. And I remember taking the picture on that day, and it properly looked like a first day of school. I had my arms like really awkwardly alongside my body, and it was just me looking really proud in, I believe it was a white suit and a very yellow blouse and yellow shoes. And that outfit did the rounds on LinkedIn. But I also have a pink suit that is covered in gemstones. And I have a purple suit that is very glittery. And those are the three outfits that I normally wear when I'm speaking on stage, when I'm doing public speaking. And they perform quite well with the audience.
What do you like the most about speaking?
It's a lot of things really. I love it because, well, first and foremost, public speaking is not about finding clients. It's about entertaining your audience, right? It's something that I've done my whole life. And for me to transform and transport someone into my world and sharing that experience, that is magic. Yes, that's number one. I think you're creating this alternate universe for the 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes that your talk lasts. You create a whole new world for people, and you're sharing that. And that's something that I really love. Another thing that I like about it is that when you're posting on social media, for example, you are just putting the word out into the void, right? And you're just hoping that your audience sees your stuff. Now you can do stuff like talking to your audience in your content, or, working the algorithm a little bit, but you don't have full control. When you are in front of an audience that is your target audience, you are speaking directly with the people that are your prospects. Yeah. So the conversion from public speaking is a lot higher, I find, than from any other type of marketing. So the fact that you get to be there in the flesh and have the questions right at you, you can have that feeling of energy, you can share those moments with each other. It's priceless. So it's not only great for your heart and for your soul, it's also great to talk with your prospects in person so that okay, that is the problem that they're working on right now. So yeah, I love it.
I think one of the things that a lot of people are afraid of is exactly that. What can they ask me? What if they ask me a question that I don't know the answer to, and things like that?
It does happen. I've had it many times where you're like, oh, I didn't think that question was going to come. First of all, preempt every type of question that you could possibly get asked. Okay. So you sit there, it's almost like objection handling. You need to preempt the objection. So if you're talking about something that is maybe a new way of looking at something, right? When I speak about storytelling to very technical industries, they go, oh, but what about this and what about that? And they have lots of questions about it. So I make sure that I preempt those questions and objections. So that's number one, so that when they get asked, I can compose myself because I've expected them. And the second thing is, it's okay to only be human. And with that, I mean, you're not going to have the answer to every single question out there. And that is okay. That
Yeah.
is fine. And I think that we should normalize being able to say, thank you so much for your question. I've actually not thought about it in that way. It doesn't make you any less of an authority or a leader in your field. It's just that you haven't considered that perspective. So you can just say to them, I would love to have an offline conversation with you about this, or I'm going to do some more research and get back to you. That's all you need to say. Right? And a lot of people feel that you need to have all the answers. You don't. You're only one person. I haven't read every single book about public speaking. Sue me, right? I don't. I know a lot about it. Do I know every single thing out there? Probably not. And I think having the confidence to be okay with that makes you an even better speaker.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've done some leadership coaching. I like this because I think it can make a big impact because if you have good leaders, they impact a lot of structures or a lot of people beneath them. And one of the things that I think is the most valuable for a leader is to be vulnerable and show that he doesn't know all the answers, and to trust people because he hired them for doing their job, and they do their job better than him. That's why he hired them.
That's it. Well, I work with a lot of senior leaders, right? And a lot of CEOs, and they're honestly the most insecure people in the business, because a CEO or a C-suite exec, for some reason, as a society, we do this. We believe that they should have all the answers. So whenever they say, oh, I don't know, they feel like they can't. So they have to make something up. And I think that is such a toxic way of looking at leadership. I think a leader that can say, I don't know, let's try and figure out an answer together. That is a true leader, and that is true vulnerability. And there's so much power in that. So yeah, I'm definitely on a bit of a mission to make sure that CEOs feel safe in saying, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so liberating for them too, because and it helps other people too. I heard the other day somebody tells, I don't know, I haven't remembered who it was, but he tells that he has the best boss who never give him an answer. He always asks him back, what do you think about it? And give him the power to solve the situation and to do the decision and things like that. So,
yeah. Those are the best bosses, right? Like, it's all about collaboration and figuring it out together instead of trying to pretend like we all have all the answers. We don't, and that's okay. Like, we're here to do it together, right? We're here to make it happen together. And I always say, like, when I speak to friends about their bosses, for example, I say, don't forget that every title is just made up. Yeah. These roles didn't exist however many years ago. So they're just a human being trying to get to the right answer. So you might as well work together to do that. Yeah. And sometimes the most junior person in the company has the best idea. That doesn't mean that they should be the CEO. It just means that they had the right idea at the right time with the right perspective. That's it.
Excellent. Yeah. Yes. And also I like about about talking and speaking and things like that. I think we just at least this is my experience at school, there's too little of it, because you were always just listening, and there was too little communication and opportunities and demands for you to express yourself, your thoughts and your vision. And usually it was just one correct answer, and this was the teacher's answer, not yours. And, but life doesn't work like that.
No, it really doesn't. And I think even in school, we see this problem with children need to answer a question, for example. They all put their hand up. And when you give the wrong answer, or when you're maybe stuttering, you get laughed at. Yeah. Right. And we instantly get told, like, okay, I don't do what you guys expect me to do, so therefore it's wrong. Yeah, so we are from a very early age, we are conditioned to do the right thing and to give the right answer. That's so stressful. Gosh, like I make probably close to 100 mistakes in a day, if not more.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
yeah. That's one of the things that I really like when I learned that I have a KPI number of fails, and I want every week to be some kind of failure, a major
Yeah.
one, because if I don't fail at something, that it means I haven't tried nothing new and interesting and different. I just go by the flow and.
It just doesn't make life interesting. You're not challenging yourself, so you're not getting better. So you are staying right in that comfort zone, and you're
Yeah.
not doing yourself any favors. Like we talked about robbing yourself if you can't communicate or sell yourself.
Yeah.
This is also robbing yourself of a lot of opportunity to grow. Yeah. So don't be a thief in many different ways.
Exactly. Okay. So, if you would, uh, how could people start working with you?
Yeah, so I have lots of different options. It used to just be one-to-one coaching. That's how it started. And I believe that when you're starting a business, you need to start with one offer, and
Mhm.
then you start building out your offer portfolio. So for me, it started with one-to-one coaching. I now run a group program which is called the Talk Tribe, and it's a community where we run a 12-week cohort every quarter. The next one starts in September, and in that we do all kinds of cool stuff, but it's mainly all around how to become a paid speaker, how to write your first talk, how to create your speaker pack. Like everything to do with public speaking gets treated in that community. And the nice thing in there is that you also get access to everybody else in there. So sharing ideas, sharing your wins, sharing your struggles, you can put it all in there. So it's really nice to have a community that has the same goal. And then I'm hosting an event on the 13th of September in London in the Shaftesbury Theatre, which is the theatre where I had my West End debut. So it's nice to have that full circle moment, which is also all about public speaking. We have some amazing panels. We've got a fantastic keynote speaker. We have a workshop session run by me all about paid speaking. And we have some really nice smaller sessions as well. So I'm really excited for that. And that's a really nice place for people to come together, do some networking, and get some of those insights, not just from me, but from people who are also conquering the speaking world. And then every month I host a masterclass, and that is always on a public speaking topic. So sometimes it is how to create a keynote, or how to become a paid speaker, or how to become a better storyteller, for example. And they normally are in the last week of the month. And I love doing those because it means I can have a very low point to entry. It's less than £100, and people can just come in, learn something, take it away, or then decide to join some of our coaching. But it's a nice way of giving the audience and the people around you something to work with. So for every budget, for every wallet, we have an option, basically.
Excellent. uh, uh, I had a question, but I think I lost it.
That's okay. That happens to me all the time. It's very human, right? Because sometimes we're so engaged in the person that we're speaking with, and then we're like, I had a question, but I don't know what it was. And it was a good question. So that's totally fine. It'll come to you. And if it doesn't, that's also fine. I do see we have some people who have dialed in. We have 20 people on the call right now. So we had Sandra, Kamini, Joe. Hi, Joe. Joe is from Shatter Media. He's amazing. And Pamela, who's asking that there are no captions. I don't know. Will there be captions later on, Robert? Do you know?
I don't know. We can add them.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like if for the YouTube, we could probably add them. So, but yeah, like I don't know if they will be there. I'm terrible with technology. Don't ask me.
Well, I should be better with this because I'm an IT guy, but I haven't tried it really yet. Really, so
Who knows?
we'll see.
We'll see. Oh, Rainier. Oh, thank you so much. Rainier is amazing. We love Rainier. Rainier is always very kind on my posts. All right, Robert. Do you have any other questions for me that I can answer today?
No. It's the time is around the half an hour. So do you have any finishing thoughts?
Do
Something
I have
that,
any finishing
yeah,
thoughts?
yeah.
I think honestly that more people need to start thinking about incorporating public speaking into their business strategy, into their marketing strategy. It's such a fantastic way to push yourself, but also to speak to your audience. And it does a lot for your confidence. And I think a lot of people battle with insecurity or anxiety, especially after COVID. I've seen a big increase in that. But I really, truly believe that anyone can become a speaker with the right guidance and with the right talk, with the right essence. Everybody has something to say, and I
Mhm.
want them to say it. So if you're listening and you're ever thinking like, oh my gosh, I really want to become a speaker, but I feel a little bit insecure about it, get off that fence. Start. You don't have to go with me, but just start getting out there, because it is honestly, it's one of the most amazing things, and it warms my heart every time I do it.
Yeah, and it's basically really easy. I had a challenge last year. I wanted to speak to 100 CEOs in the last 4 months of 2023, and I failed at that. But I spoke to 67, and at the beginning it was really a struggle. I was praying that people would not appear on the Zoom calls. Uh, I was full of anxiety and things like that. But
Mm.
after the first few, when you see they're people like you, they want to communicate, they want to share knowledge and get some feedback. It was really great, and it become better and better and better. That's one of the things that leads to this podcast is also that, and the it's just a small step uh, towards I don't know, better life by
Mm.
freeing yourself from this fear of speaking publicly.
It really is like a muscle that you just need to practice. Like in the beginning, you won't be able to pick up a 10-pound dumbbell, but then, the more you do it, the better you get. I do see you have some questions. Joe asked, do you think speaking is necessary for anyone who is trying to create a personal brand? Do I think it's necessary? No. I don't think to have a successful personal brand, you need to be a speaker. But I do think that if you want to grow quicker, it really helps to amplify you, because it sets you down as an authority. It builds so much credibility, and it really puts you down as the thought leader that you are. So depending on your goals for your personal brand, it's either necessary or not necessary. I know that that's a bit of an ambiguous answer, but it's all about knowing what is the thing that you're trying to reach here. If your goal is to get clients, but your thing is content creation and you're already getting lots of clients, you don't really need to. But I haven't heard anybody say, oh, public speaking ruined my business. Okay, so if you want to grow quicker, if you want to really establish yourself as that authority, then it's definitely necessary. It's a great tool to do that. But do you need it in order to start your business? I don't think so. It's an amplifier, if anything. I hope that helps, Joe. And Joe's going to message me later like, that was a terrible answer.
I don't think so. But I would add something. This things that you are doing, like workshops and things like that, I really like them because people started with easy, small, easy steps, and they see what I've seen with this 100 CEOs talk, that it's not that scary. And it brings a lot of joy to everybody, and you just have to get out of your comfort zone this one time and start something. Go to one workshop, and it changes everything.
It really does. That's what it's all about, Robert. It's all about just starting, right? Because we make it so much bigger in our heads.
Yeah.
But if you just start, and you don't have to start in front of 5,000 people, okay? It
Yeah.
could be that you're just practicing your talk in front of your loved ones, or in
Yeah.
front of your husband or your wife or your partner. So it's all about just start somewhere. You don't have to start on a TEDx stage, okay?
Yeah.
You can start small.
Yeah.
That's okay, because I did this with my business. I did very slow steps of growth, and even though for a lot of people it seems like it all went very quickly, It was 2 years of grafting and getting there slowly but surely. But you don't see the beginning, because that's when someone is invisible. You see them when suddenly everything seems to be there and it seems like overnight success. That's the same with speaking. You don't see when someone has gone from lots of little talks to suddenly a TEDx. You hear from them because, oh, TED has put it out there, but you haven't seen all the small talks before. So start small. Don't put that much pressure on yourself. Just have fun whilst doing it. See it as a learning opportunity, and you'll see that the more you exercise that muscle, the better you get, the bigger your speaking gigs get, the higher your speaking fees get, and the more fun you'll start to have as well. Yeah. All right. I know that we're at 30 minutes. So I know that a lot of people will have to go right now. Are there any last questions I can answer from anyone in the audience or from you, Robert?
No, I think we have great content today and great conclusions. I hope we have encouraged somebody to join you or me or somebody to do something about it. And you don't need courage. You need action, and you'll get courage.
Exactly. Honestly, that's what it is. The courage will come later. Okay.
Yeah.
Think until you make it.
Yeah.
It's the best way to do it. Oh, thank you so much for having me, Robert. It was such a pleasure to have this chat with you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.